Hello, today I'm going to talk about blushes. What they are, why do we do them, and what kind of blushes are there, and where can you put them on your face. So, blushes, I like blushes. Blush makes me look fresh, younger, energetic for the day. It just brings a little bit of brightness to my face and makes me look like I've just had a flush of color because I've been happy about something. Often we blush when we are either embarrassed, we feel romantic, or we are, kind of happy, and it's caused by basically adrenaline rush in our body, and that's what we are trying to emulate. It just gives you a little bit of youthfulness. So there are different kinds of blushes. There are powder blushes and there are liquid blushes. So generally people who have oily skin, they should try and use liquid blushes, so because it just gives the dewiness to it, which is what is recommended. And powder blushes, you apply it on oily skin because oily skin tend to secrete oil, and the blush just disappears sooner. But generally, if you want your blush to last longer, you got to use both of them, the liquid and the powder blush together. And I personally prefer that, although I have a combination skin, I prefer a liquid blush because I like the dewiness of it. I don't like, unless I'm going for a highly made up Indian look, I generally tend to stay away from powder blushes. I just don't like the look of it. Now, where do you put your blush? So different people, different shapes. So if you have, imagine you have a round face, so you have a broad face. What you want to do is narrow down your face. So you want to bring your focus to the center of the cheek. So you don't want to make it broad. It's already broad. So what you do is you try and put the blush on the center of this highest point of your cheek to make that your focus and not the edges of your face. And you kind of apply some contour just to make it, elongated contour to make it look longer. So it would be something like this. So I'd probably apply this here. That would be, I don't have a long face, but that's my placement if I've had a round face. Now, before we go on to the shapes, we have to talk about color theory. So what color, who, where? Look, if you're a medium skin tone and you're neutral in your skin tone, you get away with a lot of things. But if you are a cool skin tone, such as a fair person, and then you want to go for something like a rose and light peaches, because it doesn't look like you have too much of blush, and you stay away from the bright berries, they might make you look like you have a rash. So more like a light and neutral pastel colors would be your thing. You can get away with a lot of the light brown colors as well, like this one here. Medium skin tone, like I said, can get away with a lot of things. I apply all the shades. It just depends what is the intensity. But generally, you can apply a dark pink, or you can apply a bright peach, which really looks good. You also look good in like an orange color, which also incidentally goes, this one from Armani goes on every skin tint. I believe it's just the intensity. I would not go crazy with it if I'm a light skin toned person. So you can see how that blends in, becomes a little bit of just a little bit tad blushed look, and that is for a medium skin. For a dark skin tone, go to town. You can carry lots of bold colors. For instance, the berry color, the red colors. You also want to look for the really dark browns. This is really dark. No, actually, so this would be more for the medium skin person. It is actually apply for a dark skin person. For a lighter skin person, I would go for something like this, and for a dark tone person, this would be beautiful. I apply very little of this because it looks very, very pigmented on my skin. You can see, if I to apply this, I would use a very lightly packed brush. I would take some of this, very little, tap it on my hand before I go on my cheek. Can you see that pigmentation? It is highly pigmented. This is like one of those brushes that could last, one pot and could last your whole lifetime or until it expires. So all of us do that, use makeup that is expired. So you can see if on a dark skin person, you could go really dark. Can you see that color? Depending on the shape of the face, you can just go to town with this color, and red blushes look good on dark skin people as well. So medium skin could get away with a lot of things, I think. So this is one of those. Now, as I said, for the round skin people, you want to focus in the center of the face, because you want to bring the focus of the, when someone looks at you, you want them to focus on the middle of the face, not the sides of the face. Now, if you have a long face, then you want to do it, you want to cut down the size. So you want to do it somewhere here to kind of reduce the size. So I would go in the middle of the face as well. That the same applies for the heart-shaped person, more here. For an aging person, you want to accentuate the cheek, and you want to go on the upper part of your brow and this bit here. So I'd probably go, this is how I usually go. I go there, and then all of this would be blurred out. So you can see it just gives you a lift. And I would just then blend it out. I'd probably use, because this is so dark, the blush, I'd probably use that to kind of accentuate and lift my face. I would go on the sides of my face. And that's where I will stick to give that lift. Now, if you want a very youthful look, you can go around there. And also for people like me who have not much of a cheek space because it's now reduced from weight loss, going a little bit down somewhere here would be a fantastic look to do. I'm gonna have to cover this blush. So how do you correct blush mistakes? I just take my foundation brush that I used earlier and just apply on top of it, and it just disappears. Can you see that? Hardly any blush is seen. Now for a young person, I would say going somewhere in the middle of the cheek here. If you don't want a lift, somebody youthful like in their 20s, that's where I would go with my blush. And I would use a very lightly built, lightly dense brush, and then just go. So the key to putting on blush is go very light-handed. Don't go crazy. Apply it. If it's very, very pigmented, go on your hand and then apply it on your cheek. You can see that gives a very youthful, like that boyfriend blush look, which is what you want. You can see a lot of Hailey Bieber's blushes are, this is where she applies. She's got a very a skinny cheekbone, so she wants to accentuate the cheek area and then applies the blush here. I do apply on the center of my nose, not too much, nothing crazy. So I'd probably not apply it directly on something so pigmented. I would just, whatever is left on my brush, that became too much. Anyway. So that's the blush placement. Now, at the end of the day, in saying all of this, there's no rules, okay? Makeup does not have rules. What you look good on your face and how you feel like on that particular day is what I would say you should go with. It's a choice that we can make. Our face, our foundation, our likes and our dislikes. There is no rules, guys. These are all just guidelines. There are things, trends come and go, and a lot of things over the years, we just know what works for us and we just do that. Hope you love this video, and do give me a thumbs up if you do, and please share your knowledge if there's something you would like to share with me as well. Thank you so much.